All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a really powerful and kind of different way to think about AI and software development. It's a huge shift, really. We're moving away from seeing AI as just a tool that follows orders, and seeing it more as a creative partner, something that actually helps you discover the solution.
So here's a question for you. How do you take those vague ideas, the ones that are just kind of floating around in your head, and turn them into actual working code? I mean, every founder, every developer has been there, right? You've got this great concept, maybe it's just a feeling, but all the little details, they're fuzzy. So how do you get from A to B? Well, that journey, that whole messy and ambiguous process, that's the exact problem we're tackling today. It's always full of unknowns, requirements that change on you, all those curveballs. But here's the cool part. This ambiguity is exactly what a new kind of AI tool, what we call a general agent, is built to handle. To really get this, we need a new way of thinking about it, a new mental model. So forget the idea of AI as a vending machine, where you just punch in a command and get code. Instead, I want you to think of it as an AI incubator. So what is a general agent, really? Well, you can think of it as a multi-purpose reasoning system. But here's the key. Its superpower isn't just executing instructions perfectly. No, not at all. It's built for exploration. It's designed to dig into a problem with you and help you discover the best solution together.
And this incubator idea is just perfect. Think about it. In a biology lab, you put some raw material inside, and over time, through iteration, something amazing and functional emerges, right? It's the same thing here. You give it your raw, messy idea, and the agent just starts working on it. It tries things, it learns, it iterates, and eventually a fully working piece of software comes out the other side.
This really shows that whole transformation process. On one side, you've got the chaos, right? Vague goals, changing needs, all the edge cases you haven't even thought of yet. Then it goes into the incubator, the agent. And what pops out on the other side? Clarity, working code, stable solutions, the whole shebang. It literally turns ambiguity into logic. And listen, this isn't science fiction. This stuff is here, right now, shaping how we build things. We've got tools like Claude Code, which is amazing for really deep thinking. It's like having a super smart brainstorming partner. You've got the OpenAI agent for all you developers who live in the terminal. And then there's wild stuff like Goose, which can literally look at a web page and figure out what to do. Each of these is just a different kind of incubator, for different kinds of projects.
Okay, next section. And this is a big one, because if the AI is an incubator, what does that make you? Well, your role has to change. You're not a micromanager anymore. Now, you're the director.
And this comparison just nails it. The old way? You were in the weeds, right? Write code for a submit button, micromanaging every tiny detail, focusing on syntax. The new way, the incubator way? You're a director. You just say, build a contact form. You focus on the feature, and you let the agent figure out all the steps. It's a total shift in focus.
So what does a director actually do? Well, it boils down to four main things. First, you set the intent. What's the big picture? Second, you provide access. Give the agent the files and context it needs to do its job. Third, you review the work. Just like a film director watching the dailies, you check in on the progress. And finally, you course correct. You give feedback to steer it in the right direction. It's not about doing the work, it's about guiding the vision.
All right, section 3, how the agent thinks. So how does this whole thing work under the hood? I know it can feel a bit like magic, but it's not. It's really driven by two key mechanics. And once you get these, everything else clicks into place.
Okay, the first big idea is something called dynamic planning. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The agent makes its own plan, on the fly, from scratch. You don't give it a step-by-step checklist. You just give it a destination, and it figures out the best way to get there.
Here's a perfect example. Let's say you tell it, build me a registration system. It doesn't just start spitting out code. No way, it actually thinks. It goes, okay, to do that, I'll need to 1. Design the database schema, 2. Build the API endpoint, 3. Create the front-end form, and 4. Add the validation logic. See? You didn't give it those steps. It came up with that plan all by itself.
Now for the second mechanic. And honestly, this one is an absolute game changer. It's called context-aware reasoning. This means the agent doesn't just have generic programming knowledge, it actually reads your entire project and understands how you build things.
Think about what that means. You give it access to your code, and it scans everything. It sees, oh, okay, they're using Next.js and Supabase here. So when it gets to work on that registration system, it automatically uses your stack and your existing patterns. You don't have to waste time explaining your setup. It just observes and adapts. It's incredible.
Okay, last section. So all of this, it leads to a really important point. The true output of this whole process, the thing you get at the very end, it's not just code. It's way, way more than that.
What you really get is something we can call crystallized understanding. Yeah, you get a solution that works, which is great. But along the way, the agent helped you discover requirements you didn't even realize you had. It found those sneaky edge cases you would have missed. It proved that your architecture actually works. The process of building didn't just create code, it created understanding. And that understanding is pure gold. It becomes the blueprint, the genetic material for whatever comes next. You can take all that knowledge and use it to build highly specialized, rock-solid custom agents for production. So this whole exploration phase, it's what gives you the foundation for a truly great, scalable product.
So that brings us to the final, crucial question you've got to ask yourself on your next project. Are you going to be a micromanager, stuck in the weeds, or are you ready to step up and be the director?